Greetings, you are watching Dugin's Guideline. Events related to the failed US coup in Turkey continue to be the center of attention. This event is of such a grand scale that it requires new and fresh thinking. At first glance, everything is clear. The Americans and their agents of influence, seeing Ankara's rapprochement with Moscow, launched a coup attempt. The attempt failed. It turned out that they, the Americans, and their supporters in Turkey were to blame for the fact that the Turkish Air Force shot down our plane and then the Islamists shot our pilot. After the suppression of the coup, Erdogan openly announced that one of its leaders was General Akin Ozturk, who was in charge, among other things, of relations with Israel. Also, other Air Force generals were labeled instigators, including General Huduti, Adem, Avni, Angun, who has been directly linked to Washington. Thus, the facts are there. A network of US agents of influence had been established in the Turkish armed forces as a result of the country's participation in NATO. The network has been particularly active in Air Force, traditionally more so than other parts of the military in the NATO integrated system. They are tied to be sect led by Fethullah Gulen, who resides in the United States and, as it turns out, maintains close relations with Hillary Clinton. Thus, it was the American agents in Turkey who first downed the Russian bomber, concealed the fact that pilot had promptly sent the call sign and thus misinformed Erdogan. Then, just as their game was about to be revealed, they carried out an attempt to overthrow Erdogan on the orders of their Atlanticist paymasters. Since the coup was suppressed, Erdogan no longer maintains any illusions, and he is practically headed for a break with the United States and withdrawing from NATO. Kerry, anticipating this inevitable outcome and Erdogan's move, is trying to keep a good face during a bad game by speaking of the Turkey exiting NATO in order to leave this initiative appearing as if it was at least partly Washington's. In such situation, it would seem logical to prepare for this process and seek new contacts with Russia, China, and Iran. And this is exactly what Erdogan is doing. No more EU, no more NATO, a multipolar world and the end of American hegemony. But there we are faced with the continuation of hybrid war. The first thing that Americans are working on is tossing around the false idea that the putsch was allegedly a coup organized by Erdogan himself. Nothing personal, just typical American nerve. They set up a military coup d'etat, fail, and then blame Erdogan for what they themselves did. Most importantly, this pathetic lie is being blindly echoed by global media. On July 16th, the British Guardian voiced the opinion of Fethullah Gulen that the coup was staged by Erdogan himself. On July 15th, Michael Rubin had an article published in Foreign Policy with the title, "Erdogan has nobody to blame for the coup but himself." Smaller media such as Ebrio Report have said that yesterday's coup wasn't against the government of Erdogan. It was a coup by Mr. Erdogan against Europe's secular future. On July 19th, Fox News reported the possibility that Erdogan had organized a pseudo-coup and then blamed Gulen. Gulen told reporters at this Pennsylvania compound on Saturday, there is a possibility that it could be a stage coup. Immediately after the coup, ex-Pentagon official Michael Malov said that Erdogan had brought this on himself by emasculating the military. The Jerusalem Post was even more specific in writing that the coup attempt in Turkey increasingly looks like a false flag operation. More and more, hissing experts are spewing poisonous malice that, of course, Erdogan came up with all of this himself, because otherwise he could not have put everything down so fast. But these same media outlets unanimously broadcasted during the first hours of the coup the libel that Erdogan has fled, that he had sought refuge in Russia, that all media had come under the control of military, that the government was arrested, and so on. The coup failed, and American networks, as if nothing had happened, are continuing to unleash their agents against common sense. All the best. You've been watching Dugin's Guideline on American disinformation and the coup in Turkey.